6 p.m., call to order the City of Franklin Planning Commission meeting, April 15, 2025. May we have roll call, please? Here.
Jordana Haltom.
Here.
Jim Martin. Bill Carson.
Here.
Suzanne Finley.
Here.
John Kempsky.
Here.
Irene Nally.
Here.
Michelle Springer.
Here.
Matt Knuckles.
Here.
Roy.
Here.
That's all right, June.
Thanks, Linda.
We have a quorum. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is election of secretary. I assume, Jim, I don't know if I've seen anything.
Jim has actually resigned from the Plan Commission.
Okay.
Jim Martin, yeah, and very, I'd like us to do something in recognition of, goodness, 30 years or so?
At least.
At least 30 years, and his health is prohibiting him from being able to, and he said if he couldn't fully participate, he felt obligated to do it, so we perhaps should do something at one of our meetings and sign something or something, because
Julie is in the process of coming up with a number of different options. So we'll have something by the next meeting.
great,
Hopefully.
that's wonderful.
Thank you. Do we have a nomination for secretary? Anybody anxious to join up?
We've got a volunteer down here, he'll do it.
We have a nomination. I make a nomination for Mr. Carson for secretary.
Second.
Do we have a motion to close nominations?
I'll make a motion to close the nomination. Second.
All those in favor of closing nominations signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. We have a motion for Mr. Carson for secretary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Carson.
Thanks, Bill.
Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes for January 21st, 2025. Do we have a motion, amendment, or deletion on the minutes, excuse me?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 21st, 2025.
Second.
Motion by Haltom, second by Carson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Reports of officers and committees. Technical Review Committee, January 23rd, February 20th, and March 20th, 2025. Joanna, would you share with us on that, please?
Sure. We've actually been very busy since the last meeting. We've held 3 meetings. On January 23rd, there were 3 items on the agenda. The first one being at Compass Park. They are proposing some additional duplexes on the north end. That project is called the North Cottages. Also at 500 Earlywood Drive, we reviewed the site development plan for the Franklin Community School Corporation Earlywood Preschool. They just had their official groundbreaking last week, so they are moving forward with that development. Also reviewed the site development plan for the expansion of the City of Franklin wastewater treatment plant. Our contractor is currently going through the process of obtaining all of the state and local permits in order to start that construction. On February 20th, there were 5 items on the agenda. The first one being the Franklin Community School Corporation Earlywood Preschool. It was redocketed as there were a number of items that we were looking at and needed to coordinate with the site to the west of there. Second item on the agenda was at 597 Johnson Avenue. It was a site development plan for redevelopment of that property to locate Dave O'Mara Equipment and Storage Yard. They do have all of their approvals and are ready to start that work. At 50 South Morton Street, which is the northwest corner of Hospital Road and US 31, the Marathon gas station is been demolished, and they are currently in the process of building a new facility. So that is well on its way. Fourth item was the secondary plat and construction plans for Kingsbridge Section 4, which is located nearest Park Forest. So that would be the far west section. Kingsbridge has went through some modifications and division of approved sections and relocating where we originally had 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So, but that one's moving forward. We also had the secondary plat and construction plan review for Commerce Point, which was before the Plan Commission previously for the primary plat. That is at the northwest corner of US 31 and Commerce Drive, and that is the property in which has been approved for 6 lots. And then, on March 20th, there were actually 6 items on the agenda. The first one being the Redwood Apartments primary plat, which will be heard this evening. Also, there is a site development plan for the 8 acres on the west side of Graham Street, north of Arvin Road. It used to be where Brusco was located. That is going to be redeveloped for yacht building. He owns a landscape and construction company, so they will be moving forward with that. At 75 Linville Way, the existing facility of Air Atomic is looking at doing a building expansion. So that was a site development plan. Compass Park also has the additional duplexes and I believe maybe a 4-plex development on the east side of the property, which is closest to DPW. So that remaining field grass area that is there is going to be redeveloped for additional housing, and that is called the East Cottages. And then, as I had mentioned with Kingsbridge, we did review the secondary plat and construction plans for Section 2 and 5. That actually encompasses what was originally all of 2. It's been fun.
It's new maths.
So we've had a little bit going on, but that is all I have.
Well, since you're on a roll, Joanna, would you share with us about PC 25-8 Redwood Apartments at Franklin?
Sure. Before us this evening is the primary plat for a 1-lot multifamily subdivision. I do realize that it is a little unique for a 1-lot property to be coming before you due to the nature of the development as a site development plan for the apartments. There are a number of easements that would need to be established along with dedications of right-of-way. Just due to the magnitude of the number and complexity of those easements, it is better and easier to track if it is actually just a recorded plat. So all of the easements, dedication, do correspond with the site development plan that has been reviewed beginning in '23, and we are in the process of doing the final review and issuance of approvals for them to start construction. As I mentioned, it is a multifamily project. That property was previously rezoned to RM, residential multifamily, with some conditions on what could be developed to ensure that what was presented is what is provided. And this has been advertised and is ready for consideration and action.
Thank you, Joanna. Is a presenter here tonight that would like to address?
Sir, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you give tonight be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir.
My name is Ken Moorhead. I'm with American Structure Point, here to represent Redwood. Just to add to her description of the property, this will be 156 two-bedroom, single-story, two-car attached garages. There's two entrances, one off of Hurricane Road and Upper Shelbyville Road, and they both align with entrances that are across the street, so, you know, passing in blisters and everything like that for entrance and exits. We have approval for the variance for a buffer yard setback, which reduced it to a 0, but we still are required all plantings in that area. And there's 2 wet ponds. One is for detention for the site, and the other is for floodplain compensation. And we do have IDNR floodway permit approval already in hand. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions for, I'm sorry, your first name again?
Ken Moorhead?
Ken. Anyone have questions for Ken on this project? I heard you address the floodplain perspective. Is there any positive effects downstream from that on possibly that could cause for a LOMA amendment in the future?
We didn't do that in-depth of a study. We just meet the requirements that are required by Franklin and, you know, DNR. So, I mean, I feel like there should potentially be, just because I believe it's like a 3-to-1 compensation. So for everything we fill, we have to add detention for the floodplain. So, like I said, we didn't do the full model downstream to see what it would affect, but based on prior experiences with our projects, there's potential.
Okay, well, maybe there's an opportunity to,
Yeah, I think when DNR reviews those permits, that they would look at downstream and upstream effects, because you guys did probably cross-sections as far as your analysis, correct?
Correct.
So they'll look at that. So I'm sure with the release rate from the pond and everything, that might affect the downstream. I haven't looked at that
Okay.
exactly, but I'm sure it helps.
so, for the record, though, it could be not only a positive project, but could address some issues that,
Correct.
any other comments, questions, or thoughts on this project?
Joanna, from reading your report, they meet the criterias in all respects?
Yeah, they meet all the
Waivers.
criteria. The only 2 things that didn't make the staff report is I noticed today that one of the street names, Red Lily, was spelled Lilly,
Okay.
and that needs to be Lily. So was going to make that. And then also, the city of Franklin owns the triangle at the southeast corner there, and part of their drainage facilities are actually going to be located on our property, so they are going to have to secure that off-site drainage easement. And those would be the 2 conditions that
But
we would
secure it from us-
suggest.
Secure it from us?
From us,
No-
yeah.
No third party out
No
there?
third party.
I have a question. Did you indicate, or as far as the individuals that you're marketing mostly to, or?
Redwood Communities, I mean, I think they fit the lifestyle for more like retirement age, younger couples without kids, but they don't, if you have kids, you're allowed to, but with a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, it's kind of more for people that don't have kids, either at earlier stage in life or later stage in life. But they allow families and everybody in the community, so.
This is a market rate project, correct?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
As far as I'm aware, that's the information that we've
My-
been provided.
Yeah, everything I've ever researched on Redwood, they've always been market rate.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to ask Redwood on that one. We're just the engineer on them.
Okay. Well, is there any other questions, comments, or concerns? If not, do we have a motion?
You want to open it up for public hearing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
We'll now open it up for a public hearing. All those interested, please be sworn in and come forward. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Do we have any motion on the primary plat for Redwood PC 25-8?
I make a motion to approve the primary plat for PC-25-8.
Second.
Motion by Nellie Carson, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Do we have any other business to be considered this evening?
So just for informational purposes, the Department of Planning and Engineering has and is currently going through some restructuring. So Matt is now the city engineer officially.
Congratulations.
The civil technician, Jim Farr, has put in his resignation effective May 16th. So we will be advertising for someone to fulfill that position. In addition, we have a job description creating a part-time position called Utility Restoration Inspector. So once that goes through the Board of Works next week, we would be putting that out for advertising also. And then I have the luxury of going from senior planner 2 to now the planning director. So our hierarchy has kind of shifted, but I think it's going to be all good changes. We're going to miss Jim. He's been a great asset to the city, but we'll continue moving forward.
I'll miss seeing him walk in with his lunch bucket
Yep,
every morning.
I love the igloo.
I know it.
Is this a new position, the utility relocation?
It is.
So is there something,
So we have a lot of underground utilities that go through the city of Franklin. The permitting and issuance of those and then inspections have all been handled by the civil technician, which is on top of all of the other duties. So it's kind of hard to keep up on all of the development that we currently have, plus on that. So the goal is to have a part-time individual that would dedicate their time to going out and being able to complete all the inspections, and then also if somebody is doing some installation without permits, that we would be able to identify them more quickly. The other goal is to assist in reducing the number of damages that we have experienced with boring through sanitary laterals or water mains, gas mains, all of those things. So it's in response to
When you had
the utilities.
had a mayor who in his former life did that kind of work. He's particularly attuned to utilities coming in and
is there a
out.
process now, though, for bonding on these utilities?
Yeah, they're supposed to, what ends up happening either, in two regards, and I hear about it a lot from the mayor, is either they'll come in, they'll bore, and of course, you know how many streets we've put in the city, and they're usually are in our brand new streets, and they haven't pulled the permits. So there is a process,
Right.
following that process, and also a big issue for the mayor and the department has been the lack of use of flowable fill. So they'll repair, but they won't repair to the standards that's necessary. And
Right.
6 months later, we've got sinking and things of that nature, so
And as-
hopefully we can get ahead of it.
And as Joanna mentioned, it's kind of hard for one person to track all that. And the utilities don't set a schedule for when they're going to be out there. So having somebody that's out in the field doing that part-time work will help keep us updated on what's going on out there and making sure that repairs get fixed.
The most annoying part with any utility is you let them know you're going to be reconstructing a road, and then you get it finished, and then they cut it up.
Yeah.
But the legislature has disabled our power to do much more than that unless something's changed.
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about trying to get it to change, but it hasn't. But we make them post bonds and things, and frequently it's the contractors. You know, the utilities hire the contractors, they should know better, and so hopefully having somebody dedicated out there will ride herd on it before it happens.
Well, I'm sure they will.
That'll keep the mayor from stopping in the middle of the street himself.
I doubt that.
I doubt that, you're right. That would be our hope.
To spin off of what Joanne said, for the record and to be said in public, I was meeting with an engineering firm a week ago and working on a project outside of the city. Through my conversation, I was asking this particular engineering firm, I came from government, how the experiences were in different entities around. And I didn't solicit this. He said that Franklin was the best to deal with and to get through the bureaucracy and know where you stand and apply the good standards that need to be done in each community. And I think that speaks well for what you folks do, and I really appreciate that.
Sure.
Any other old business or other business, excuse me? Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Holtum, second by Nally. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye.